we're going to talk about the 3 things that keep most Protestants from converting. Those don't have a lot of aroma, which is unfortunate because they're very pretty. Stuff on the lens. It's no good. What's up, my people? Welcome back to the studio. So very glad you're here. I hope you're having a fan-freaking-tastic, great day. Man, it is an exceptional day. You know, when this video comes out, we're just gonna jump right in, you know, to the studio update stuff. No dilly-dallying today. But when this video comes out, I will have had the opportunity to interview live on a RedC Catholic Radio program, and hopefully when this comes out I'll be able to put a link in the description below to the YouTube video of that. I believe it's being filmed, filming this video before the interview, but the video will come out after the interview. Anyways, all that said, one of my favorite parts about this whole deal is getting to sit down with people and talk about the faith. So super excited to have the opportunity to do that. Filmed that during a lunch break one day, and that is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited about that. So I hope you get to watch that and enjoy. Other than that, I don't know what they're building, but somewhere over there they use a saw all the time for like years. So I don't know what they're doing. Anyways, man, let's jump into today's video. You know, I've noticed I have a habit of making 20-ish minute, 23-minute videos, and I think it's probably good to balance that out with some shorter, you know, 7 to 10 minute videos to try and give people maybe a slightly more digestible, I don't know. I like to talk about this stuff, so I may not be able to do less than 20 minutes, but we're gonna give it a go today. Now I want to talk about the 3 reasons that I think most Protestants do not convert. And I want to talk about why each of those things that keeps people from converting are actually really good and really beautiful and shouldn't be a hindrance to converting to Catholicism. And 2 of these, I will say, I wrestled with mightily going into this. And this is not an exhaustive topic, and I'm not going to jump into the apologetic side of this and talk about why 2 of these 3 things are true. I'm going to talk about why they're good, and I will leave the true part up to the trained professionals. So, reason number 1, or category number 1, however you want to label it, is pretty obvious one. I think most people are not going to be surprised by this, but that is the Holy Father. That is the Pope, the office of the papacy. And there are a lot of reasons why I think Protestants do not convert to Catholicism because of the Pope. And for me, when I wrestled with the Pope, it really actually wasn't anything to do with whether or not it was good or beautiful or true. It had a lot more to do with my own crap. I grew up with a pretty strong anti-authoritarian streak in my soul. I have a hard time accepting authority, which makes actually becoming Catholic very humorous to me, because since going through RCIA or OCIA and converting, a lot of that anti-authoritarian streak has gone sideways for me a little bit. And by that I mean it's not something I struggle with. I am thankful for the opportunity to submit to the authority of the church, because I know in submitting to the authority of the church, I am in a safe place spiritually. And that's really good. I'm very thankful for that. Personally, I think most Protestants don't convert because of the Pope, because there is a very strong individualist spirit in America. I understand a lot of where that comes from in Christianity when it deals with, we are going to be independent of the world, we are going to be independent of the spirit of the age, which is attempting to drag people away from the faith and into a whole bunch of insanity. However, the whole of the Protestant faith was built on the I'm my own authority. And now you have generations of people who look at Christianity and say, you know what, I'm good on my own. Sure, I'll go to church. Sure, I'll listen to the preacher as long as I agree. But at the end of the day, I'm in charge. I will submit to God the way I think I should. And that is why most Protestants don't want to convert because of the Pope, because they do not want to submit their own individual authority to a higher authority. Now, that's why I think most Protestants don't convert, because of the Pope. Here's why the Holy Father is a really, really good and really beautiful thing. The beauty of the way Christ established the church with a single head authority at the top is because that reflects the nature of reality. All of reality is hierarchical. There are things at the bottom that move toward the top. And the nice thing about the way God created reality is that there is movability within that hierarchy. Maybe you start out at life in the bottom, but you can move because God gives you the freedom to do that. But that said, hierarchies move towards a singular point at the top. Like, look around at any successful business or organization. There is almost always, and I might even step out and say there is always a person at the top. Even Protestant churches have one lead pastor at the top. Now, they might argue, well, he's subject to the elders and whatever. But still, you have one leader at the top calling the shots when it comes down to what do we do about a thing. So even though Protestants do not want to submit their own self-generated authority to a higher authority, they live under a single authority in a hierarchy. The other reason that the role of the Pope is beautiful is because you have a man who is dedicating his life to making sure Christians, Catholics, have what they need in order to follow Christ to the fullest. Now, sure, some popes have done that well, and some popes have done that poorly. And I get that argument. But the abuse of the thing does not neglect the good of the thing. The role of the Pope is beautiful because you have a man who is dedicating his entire being to the assistance and the service of those who are walking out their faith to the best of their ability. It's a beautiful thing. So that's the first one. The second reason most Protestants don't convert, and this one is the saddest one for me, but it was also the truest one for me when I converted. Most Protestants don't convert because of what Catholics believe about the Blessed Virgin Mary, about our mother. And it's really fun to make this video. I want to do several Marian specific videos. I don't have the courage for that yet because I want to represent the Queen of Heaven with the utmost reverence and skill, and I'm not there yet. But most Protestants don't convert to Catholicism because of Mary, because they don't understand what we teach, what we believe, or what we practice. They think they do, but they do not. And so what I would say, and an encouragement I would give to you is, if you have opportunities to dialogue with Protestants about faith, I would encourage you to really know the four dogmas and the main practices when it comes to our relationship with the Blessed Mother. The goodness, right? So that's why they don't convert. The goodness of our Blessed Mother is that, whatever your life was like growing up, whatever your relationship was with your own mom or with the women in your life, there is a mother who loves you perfectly. Sure, some Protestants are going to say, I don't need that. I have the love of God. I have the love of Jesus, I don't need the love of Mary. Just going to let that sit. Okay, well, I'm not even going to, we're just going to let that sit for the craziness that it is. But the Blessed Virgin Mary, our mother, is a beautiful conduit of grace through whom God blesses us with her unique care and love. And that is a good and beautiful thing. Personally, my relationship with Mary has been very challenging in the beginning and is growing like a fruit tree, and I am starting to see the fruit of my devotion to her. And I love our Blessed Mother. And I don't want to go into any of the dogmas or the doctrines or the practices, but what I would say is, if the people in your life who are Protestant, who don't agree with Marian devotion, study the dogmas in the faith and help them to see what it is that we actually believe versus what they think we believe. That's the deal. And I can't remember who said the quote. Most people disagree with what they think the Catholic Church teaches, but they don't actually know what the Catholic Church teaches. So study up on those things and help people see the beauty of the gift that is our Blessed Virgin Mary. And then the third reason most Protestants don't convert to Catholicism, and this one's, like I say this looking in the viewfinder at myself, knowing that I need to be speaking to myself as much as anybody else. But most Protestants don't convert to the Catholic Church because of the Catholics in their life. I have had some people tell me personally, why should I convert when I'm good in my faith, and when I look at people who are practicing Catholicism, I'm not impressed? Or worse, I'm turned off. I get that. I understand that deeply. Growing up, I had somebody ask me recently, did you know Catholics growing up? And I knew like 2. And looking back, I would not make the case that they were representing the faith well. And that wasn't enticing to me. Right? Like Catholicism, what is that? Catholicism is the fullness of the faith. And as best as we are able, we need to reflect that fullness into the world around us. And so it's great to go to Mass, and it's great to have, practices at home and prayer life and reading Scripture. All of those things are really good. But if we go out into the world and we do not represent the faith well, we are not helping people be drawn into the fullness of the faith that we believe in. And I say that as much to myself as I say it to anybody else. If I want my kids to stay in the faith their whole life, I need to be a shining example of what that faith should look like. Our faith should be this thing that is so enticing, people can't help but ask what it is in us that makes our lives so attractive. And that gives us the opportunity to share the faith. The good thing about that, and the reason that is a beautiful challenge, is because it requires us to deepen our own faith. And it's good to deepen our faith. It's good to practice the faith. It's good to walk the faith out day in and day out. Yes, we're going to sin. Yes, we're going to fall short. But that shouldn't keep us from giving our best effort in living the faith, so that those who are not a part of the faith may be so enticed by our lives that they can't help but wonder what it is that makes us different. So, as you go about your week this week, remember that our Holy Father is a gift from Jesus. Our Blessed Mother is a gift from Jesus. And the challenge of living our life to the degree that it entices others to get involved is a gift from Jesus. that noise is not going to stop anytime soon. Until I see you next time, keep climbing.